Less than 2 weeks after the big Notability version 14 update, we're getting a lot of bug fixes. That can't be good. Hey guys, it's Robsy back with Paperless X, a channel dedicated to easing your digital transformation. If you're new to our channel, hello. Make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know each time we release a new video. And if you're already subscribed, fantastic human, welcome back. Notability version 14 is looking more modern and more minimalist. We never thought the app could get more minimalist than it already was. Apparently it can. We love where they've put the settings icon and the search bar. It's intuitive. And so is the new way we're creating folders now. The tabs for our recent and favorite notes also make sense. Then it goes downhill after that. We hate that they have put the gallery on the sidebar with our folders and notes in the app. We've never been fans of the gallery since its launch, so we'll prefer if it was tucked away somewhere we never see it. I see myself accidentally tapping on the gallery and getting frustrated every single time. A social media platform in a productivity app is counterproductive, especially when the developers make it so readily available with the rest of our notes. Just out of curiosity, besides potentially wasting scores of productivity hours scrolling through the Notability gallery, how many of you guys have actually found it useful enough to need it in the app? Where you would say that your life wouldn't be the same without the Notability gallery? Do let us know in the comment section. Dividers are now more difficult to see after the update, thanks to the massive dots for our subjects in the app. To be fair, dividers have always been hard to see, but the new user interface just made it worse. While we appreciate the minimalist look, it's pointless if it doesn't improve our user experience in the app. Yet, that is the main theme for almost every feature in Notability version 14. It looks better while ruining our experience in the app. We now have to take too many steps to access and use pretty much every feature in the app now. The recycle bin, for example, is no longer readily available on the homepage. Yet, there is plenty of room for a bin icon next to the settings icon. This extremely minimalist user interface can't accommodate the bin icon. Really? Selecting multiple documents is also more tedious now. Basically, in Notability version 14, you will waste a lot of time doing things we'd become used to doing in much fewer steps. That was Notability's defining characteristic, its simplicity. And they just took that away. Creating new notebooks is now very confusing. because of the page template options that appear at the bottom of the screen. Let's try to appreciate the developer's logic for this feature. A quick way for us to change our templates even after creating a notebook. Sounds like a good idea. Except it's not working now, is it? The feature is failing to override our custom default templates. It looks terrible, there's no other way to put it, but at least we can undo to clear the mess. We try to stay positive and import a document instead. So importing a PDF into the new notebook is easy enough. Would argue it's just easy to start with the PDF from the homepage, but let's roll with this. We were happy that it's very easy to import a PDF into the app until Notability failed to import the document correctly. This is a new level of dysfunction for such a big app and such a big update. Notability failed to import the cover page of the digital notebook I imported. It also ruined all the topic pages in the PDF. So we should expect another bug fixing update soon, I suppose. In disbelief, we tried something different. We were probably missing something. I mean, it's Notability. So we were determined to find out how these new templates work. So after changing our default template to the most obvious one, the most basic, we tried again. There you go. On plain paper, they make sense. On default templates, they make sense, which is to be expected. Only if you have set the right line spacing for them. And setting that up is also just so many steps. And so you wonder why they're giving us this option in the first place. This just complicates our quick notes, which we've always been able to create in the app in a single tap. A lot of apps have the option for full screen mode. It's usually an option we can choose never to use, which some of us never do. But Notability version 14 has gone full screen permanently. It also gives you the illusion that you're taking notes on an infinite canvas, and it feels empty for an infinite canvas looking app. It feels like something is missing. And that is because something is missing. Before, we could quickly rename our notebooks without thinking too much about it. Now, in Notability version 14, we have to scroll to find our notebook name. You can also zoom out on the page to remove the infinite canvas illusion. That will help you find your notebook title as well. Notability version 14 now requires a lot of energy for us to do everything, it seems. but they made the gallery so easily accessible. What do you guys think about the new icons? They look funny, no? Like someone squeezed them to look short and wide. The toolbar too, which is floating now in Notability version 14. The developers took that one from Apple Notes. What a thing to copy! In Apple Notes, we've never known anything else. And after our complaints to Apple fell on deaf ears, we stopped complaining about it. You can imagine the horror when we saw this mini floating toolbar in Notability version 14. Moving the toolbar to different sides of the screen in Notability is not even that smooth. You get a better experience with this in Apple Notes. Because our toolbar is so short, we have to scroll to use some features. How did the Notability developers think that this would give us a better user experience? Where before you could tap once to start or stop recording, now we have to scroll to the recording icon and then tap it to start recording. Well, that might not seem like it's a lot of work, when you do it once, but if this is a feature you use all the time, this is a lot of work. Our audio playback speed is also now buried under several layers. Something we could just do with a single tap before. If Notability had added more steps to a single feature, we would probably get over it. But they have complicated too many features in a single update. Each writing tool now has a color palette that you can customize. We love this because the fixed color options we had before were a bit limiting whenever you wanted to use custom colors. That was before we had the favorites toolbar, of course. The new color palette, however, only houses a maximum of 8 colors. After that, you have to scroll to get to the 3 pen thicknesses that you can now have on this toolbar. That's the maximum thicknesses you can have on the toolbar now. They took that one from GoodNotes. They just seem to be copying all the bad ideas. You can pick up a pen type. Do the Notability developers genuinely believe that this setup is better than the favorites toolbar? Yeah, because they removed the favorites toolbar from Notability, so we don't have that anymore. At least they separated the thicknesses for each pen tool, so your pencil tool can have a different color palette and different pen thicknesses from all the other tools. We're going to miss the favorites toolbar. Notability seems to have copied a lot of ideas for this new update. Why couldn't they copy the user interface ideas in Noteful? where removing the status bar makes the app look more minimalist for those that want that. The rest of us who won't be forced to use the minimalist look. The toolbar in Noteful is mobile, so you can move it to any side of the screen. Which is what Notability was trying to do. But it's not floating, so it remains anchored to the edge of your screen away from your page. It is long enough to house all the tools you need, so working in the app is very simple. You don't have to do too many steps to access anything. Noteful even lets you save your favorite pen tools on the toolbar. But it also gives you the option to turn off features you don't use for a minimalist feel. Why couldn't the Notability developers implement this kind of minimalism? Because it works, right? Or is it just for us? The new keyboard toolbar is the first feature we loved in Notability version 14. It looks good and has some presets for adding different types of headings and text format options. Much better than the one they had before. Our favorites text features are not that intuitive though. We can no longer edit them, which is annoying. And our custom fonts are acting funny. We can't see them when we scroll through the fonts in the app, and one of them keeps appearing, though we're not sure how. At this point, we just feel Notability version 14 really took a lot from us. They removed the plus icon for adding different items to our notes and have given us a photos icon instead. This groups our stickers, GIFs, and sticky notes. They could have just kept the plus icon. Millions of Notability users recognize the plus icon. Does it feel weird that these pop up on the right side and not under the icons? Maybe that's because I'm right-handed. Is it just me? Placed correctly, this pop-up window is not bad compared to the old one. We no longer have the page options we used to have for our sticky notes. Now we're stuck with just page colors, which I never liked. So there's that. They have improved the note switcher to give us access to all the folders in the app without exiting our notes. That is a thoughtful feature and we love it. Even though the search tool is not readily available. The smaller toolbar that we hate so much actually looks better when multitasking. It's the only time you'll be able to appreciate just how good it looks. So maybe if this was a responsive toolbar, that would make sense. Look small in split view, but bigger when you're not multitasking. Notability version 14 actually looks good when multitasking. it's less cluttered, which we appreciate. Multiple page selection has also improved. We now have a bigger window to select pages from. Let's hope in the future the developers will make the thumbnails smaller to fit more pages on the screen. Or even better, they could give us the option to zoom the thumbnails in and out like we can in Noteform. We were happy about the new window for multiple page selection, but they shouldn't have tucked away the icons for the bookmarks and notes. Why is there a but for every feature in this update? The zoom window is now no longer available on the bottom corner. Like most features, you need to dig through several options to get to it. Some demarcations to mark different tools could improve how the app looks. A thin line around the zoom window is honestly not that bad. They didn't have to remove it. From our workspace, the app no longer tells you how many terms it found when you search through your notes. It's not a major change, but because of everything else going on in Notability, it feels like too much has changed. The lack of title and content results on the homepage for our search results is probably the straw that broke this camel's back. From our Notability wishlist, we got an accessible redo icon. Happy to see that. The lack of demarcations in Notability 14 is giving me a headache, which makes the app very unpleasant to use. The developers should seriously consider going back to the old design. Notability version 14 is not user-centric, and we absolutely hate it. Do let us know how you feel about the updates in Notability version 14. We hope you guys liked this video. Give it a thumbs up. If you did, thank you, Fantastic Human, for watching. See you in the next video.